By the way, before we get into this video, just spoiler warning. Just letting you guys know that. Hey guys, Fighting here. Now this is actually something I really wanted to talk about for a really long time. Ever since the ending of The Owl House, obviously. Now the reason why I'm making this video is because I noticed something during the finale of both The Owl House and Amphibia. So, you guys may remember, there's some similarities obviously in Owl House and Amphibia. Like, both girls get trapped in other worlds, stuff like that. Like, the villains... there's two villains who have redemption arcs, stuff like that. Actually, speaking of that, why don't we talk about that today? Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because, if you guys had noticed, there's one thing I don't think any of us has ever talked about. And that is this. Both villain redemption arcs are very different. Because in case you're wondering, in the Owl House show and Amphibia, there's actually a few similarities to both villains. There's two villains in each show, two main antagonists, two of them get redeemed. And the redeemed ones I'm talking about are Andreas, of course, and the Collector. But as for the other ones, who are just the irredeemable villains as we all know, Bellows and the Core. Now the reason I'm talking about this is because I noticed a difference between each of them. As we all know, they have a few similarities to each other. Like for example, Bellows and Andreas are both very, like, destructive rulers and stuff like that. And the Core and the Collector are both very powerful god beings. But there's one thing I've noticed. Both shows have redemption arcs, right? But one thing I've noticed is that only one god gets redeemed, and the other one has the ruler get redeemed. And you know what? I'm also talking about that this episode. So, here we go. Let's get into it. Anyways, so first off, I want to talk about Andreas. Now, the reason why I'm talking about Andreas is because he's actually interesting. Is that in Andreas' part, he's basically the ruler who gets redeemed in this story, Amphibia. In Amphibia, the ruler gets redeemed, which is obviously Andreas himself. The Core, on the other hand, he just dies, honestly. But anyways, you see, for Andreas, it's very interesting, is that he was basically manipulated for his entire life, thinking that he was doing something good, but when he got that letter from Leaf, he realized how much of a monster he has become. And, yeah. But he eventually was going to finish what he started, but since he learned that letter from his friend Leaf, he now realizes, like, the manipulation that his ancestors were doing onto him. So he decided to let Anne take the blow on him for all the things he's done, and all the pain and sadness and miserableness that he's caused. Which is actually, I think it's actually very fitting for Andreas, because he said that there was no going back, but just because he said that doesn't mean there actually is no going back. I mean, sure, because if you really think about it, like he said, it was already too late. Like, he's already done all that pain, so he thought it would be only suitable for him for actually getting the punishment that he deserves. Which, in his eyes, he thinks that he deserves, I guess. But anyways, I like Andreas' character, because at the very last episode, in case you guys are wondering, he actually does break the crown and officially betrays the Core and his father, which is honestly a cool scene, by the way. And also, a shout out to this. Yeah. In case you guys are wondering, this is literally a reference to Season 1. You get the point. Anyways, so, yeah, I think Andreas' story is very interesting, but like I said, he is the ruler of Amphibia. He's basically the version of Bellows in Amphibia. So, it makes sense for him to get redeemed. So, yeah, that's his redemption arc. Now, I want to talk about another redemption arc that we have all seen recently. Let's talk about the Collector. Now, as for the Collector, I really like this guy. He's probably one of my favorite Owl House characters of all time. Like, this kid can do so much. He's basically like Bill Cipher 2.0. Even though we had Darcy, I guess. But it doesn't matter. The Collector is actually a very interesting character. Is that... Okay, here's their backstory. So their backstory is... They used to be, I guess, like a child of the stars, I'm guessing. I mean, yeah, that's literally what it is in the show. Basically, the Collector once wanted to play with his siblings, the Archivists, but the Archivists decided to actually say, go play hide and seek with the Titans or something like that, I guess. And when he did, he found friendship in the Titans, but the Archivist obviously saw danger in them, so they killed them. And the Titan, the last Titan, King's father, saw the Collector as the bad guy, or at least thought he was the bad guy, so he tracked him away for thousands and thousands of years for something they didn't even do. And honestly, can I just say this once and for all? I think the Archivists are jerks. Like, literally jerks. Like, these guys are the worst siblings. I mean, can I be honest with you guys? My brothers aren't even like that, and sure, they can be a little rude sometimes, but other than that, though, they still care about me. They still care about me. I'm part of their family. Okay? Who wants siblings that literally just cast them out of the world and just cast them out and just get them trapped for thousands of years? No one deserves that. Okay, I'll shut up now. Anyways. So, yeah, and many years later, obviously, we know that Mr. Philip Whittlebane, or as we'll know him as Bellows, I guess, basically found the Collector and basically promised him that he would release him if he helped him play his game of witch hunting. Which, obviously, we all know, many years later, he's revealed that he lied to him and tricked him into making just his goal accomplishable, I guess. Accomplishable? Is that even a word? I don't even know. But either way, yeah, Philip tricked him, and, or as we all know him as Bellows, I guess. And also, the Collector, he did get released in the end from King, obviously, but one thing I really want to talk about is that he's just a kid. Sure, he has cosmic powers, but he's just a kid. And this is where I get to the most really interesting part of the Collector, is that he never actually understands death. He may be an immortal being, but just because he's an immortal being doesn't mean you can't understand death to mortals. And I think it's about time I tell you guys this. Is that he doesn't understand what death means. And to also get scientific here, death basically is like I don't even know how to explain it, but still, he didn't understand what death means or is until he saw Luz die, which is honestly very dark for a character like that. Like, when he saw Luz die, he thought he could fix her, but in the end, he realizes that what death means is that when someone dies, they don't exist anymore in the living world. They don't live. They can no longer live their life. They have to move on to the afterlife. I mean, sure, I guess in the end, technically the Titan basically brought Luz back to life and stuff like that. But this scene honestly broke me with the Collector, because honestly, he's just a kid. He didn't deserve any of this. And honestly, I'm very glad that they actually did get a redemption arc for him, because as we all saw it coming, honestly. But honestly, yeah. The Collector does deserve a redemption arc, along with Andreas, I guess, but still. This kid deserved much more. He didn't deserve to be betrayed by his siblings. He didn't deserve to be lied to. He's just a kid. And if there's one thing we know about him, he's not just any kid. He's our child of the stars. Now, as for the last part of the video, like I said earlier, only one of them has a redemption arc where it's the ruler who gets redeemed, which is obviously Andreas, and the other has the god get redeemed. Now, honestly, I kind of like this thing, because honestly, as good as Owl House and Amphibia really are sister shows, I see some differences in them. Like, for example, when season 2, sorry, god dang it, when season 2 of Amphibia was starting, and when they first met Andreas, they originally thought he was a good guy until he revealed his true form, but losing her hand, immediately saw Bellows as the main bad guy. Like, she did not want anything to do with him. And was tricked. Luz wasn't tricked. She was tricked by Philip in the past, who actually was Bellows, I guess, but still. And honestly, I kind of like this difference, because it makes you really think. It makes you really think that some mortals can be redeemed and others can't, and some gods can be redeemed, but others can't as well. It makes you really think of, like, who can get redeemed and who can't. Like, some mortals are just impossible of redeeming. Like, for example, Bellows and the Core, they're complete jerks. But yeah, honestly, I like these kind of parallels, and they kind of, I like these differences, you know, they're very interesting. Hey, if you guys want to let me know how you think of the differences, let me know in the comments down below. Well, anyways, I think that's the end of this video. Hope you guys understand. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want to see more content like this in the future, let me know in the comments. Anyways, I gotta get going. It's late at night. I'll talk to you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye.